Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Battle Series, The School of Hard Knocks. So throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Pokemon Global Link Battle Spot ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are the equivalent rule set of the 2017 VGC season. So, hope you guys had an amazing weekend, got up whatever you got up to, playing Pokemon, whatever it was. I hope it was great, I hope you had a brilliant time. And we're back today, as promised. Last week I did mention that this week we're going to have a bit of a special kind of twist on the School of Hard Knocks. We're going to be featuring a team from a very special friend of mine, one of the UK and Europeans' finest players that we've ever had, really, in my humble opinion, and his record kind of shows that for itself, really, as well. So this week we're going to feature Ben Kyriakou's London International Championship team. He has kindly given the team to me. It has been tweaked since the London Internationals, but just fine-tuned. So it's pretty much the exact same 6 Pokemon, just a few tweaks here and there. And I'm super excited to kind of get into playing and kind of showcasing it for you guys. So we'll play it with the team this week. So today, right up until Friday. But on Friday's episode, we're actually going to have Ben on the channel with us, talking us through the team, talking us through his season, and we'll just have a couple of games, so that should be really fun. So without further ado, guys, let's get into battling. Let's find some games for you today, and let's just find, and there we go. So Ben's in-game name is G-Force this season, so I thought it'd fit into name my battle box after him. You can see the team here is Milotic, Alolan Ninetales, Oranguru, Alolan Marowak, Hariyama and Kartana. So quite an interesting team. There isn't any Tapus on there, which is the first thing you kind of notice, and there's not really anything slower than the Marowak for the Trick Room mode with the Oranguru. So it'll be interesting to see how we can kind of approach games, how we kind of lead into games as well. I'm excited to use the Hariyama. I think that's one of the things about this team that I do really like. It's such a diverse Pokemon and so good in this format as well. It's really underused, I feel, this season. So be nice to kind of get that working and see how the whole team as a concept works. Ben finished with this team at the London International Championships in December. He finished 4th place, and he's recently been to the Melbourne Internationals as well, and he finished in the top 4 there as well. So he's having a really good season this year. He's one of the top CP ranked players in Europe at the moment, and I think he'll be due to go to the Sao Paulo International Challenge in Brazil in about a week's time. So do keep an eye out for that. But without going on any further, guys, we have our first opponent of the day, running a team of Kartana, Porygon2, Torkoal, Garchomp, Nihilego and Tapu Koko. So what are we going to do here? Obviously the Torkoal puts massive pressure on our Ninetales straight away. My opponent doesn't really have any Intimidate either, so it's not really going to, Milotic's not really going to benefit too much from that. But the Hariyama looks as though it's pretty good choice here as a lead option, because it's putting a lot of pressure on the Kartana, the Nihilego, the Porygon2. It's got the fake out pressure as well, so that's really nice. So if I'm going to lead Hariyama, what else do we need? I feel like we could maybe bring Ninetales and get the Aurora Veil up, which would be really nice to kind of just support the team on a whole. And it puts a lot of pressure onto the Garchomp as well, which otherwise might be a bit of a problem for us. I do want to bring the Marowak, because I think the Marowak puts a lot of pressure on the... Oh, and we've not locked in. But I think we locked in with our Pokemon, we just didn't confirm. So I think we rounded up with the Oranguru there. As I was saying, the Marowak puts a lot of pressure on the Tapu Koko. It can resist those fire attacks from Torkoal, and it puts a lot of pressure on things like Nihilego and Trick Room and Kartana as well. So you see my opponent here leading out with that Porygon2 and the Nihilego. And we're going to lead off with our Hariyama and a load of Ninetales. So we do have a free fake out here if we want to take advantage of that, which I'm really tempted to do, to be honest. The Porygon2 does get the download boost but in attack, so that's quite nice. So I think what I'm going to do is just go for a fake out here and go for that Aurora Veil while I can get it set up. So I'm just going to boost the defenses of the entire team, so we may as well go for that while we can. We do see the Nihilego, my opponent saying go for the Protect. We just fake out into that, and we're not too worried if that Porygon2 does set up a Trick Room here, because it is going to mean that the Hariyama is going to be outspeeding that Nihilego this next turn. So we'll see what the Porygon2 goes for. Just a try attack, and it probably will be into the Ninetales. Yep. But that's fine. So right. So we are threatened now by the Nihilego onto our Ninetales, so we've got to keep that in mind. But we are putting a lot of pressure onto both the Porygon2 and the Nihilego with a close combat. So I think what I'm going to do is go for a close combat into the Nihilego slot, knowing that it has just protected. And I think I might, yeah, I'm going to switch in my Oranguru. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna just protect my Ninetales. I don't really want to switch the Oranguru in on a potential Sludge Bomb or Power Gem from that Nihilego. I'd rather bring the Oranguru in fresh, so it's not taking any damage and it can take advantage of things that way. Do you see my opponent switch out his Porygon2, bring in the Torkoal, so he will get rid of the Hail, set up the Sun. We go for the Protect with our Ninetales. We'll see what my opponent targets down here with this Nihilego. Does go for the Power Gem, but it is into the Ninetales, so we are going to get this close combat off, which should be able to pick up the KO. Yeah, which is fine. So that's one big thing off the field. And we'll see what my opponent brings in this next turn. And the one nice tech about this Hariyama, which in a normal situation right now, the Torkoal will be putting on so much pressure to the Hariyama, but Ben has put the Groundrium Z on Hariyama, so we can Tectonic Rage into this Torkoal, which is pretty huge, so we should be able to KO it. I don't know the calc, but I'd imagine it's probably enough to pick up the KO onto this Torkoal, so I am going to go for that, and I am going to just switch in my, yeah, I'm going to switch in my Marowak for my Ninetales to take any potential Smart Strikes coming in on that slot. And if that Torkoal does survive and get a Fire type attack off, then at least we'll be able to take that a lot easier. We do see a Leaf Blade. Oh, wow. Okay, we just survived. That is huge. So the defense drop there from the close combat attack, not helping us out there. At least it wasn't a critical hit, that's all. So we are going to get, thankfully, our Tectonic Rage off, and hopefully this is enough to pick up the KO onto this Torkoal, because this would be huge if it does. And just show what a really good tech it is as well, especially in this sort of situation. So we get the Tectonic Rage off. Okay, it's not quite enough to pick up the KO onto the Torkoal, but we do switch in our Marowak correctly on that slot and just take a Flamethrower, which is fine. Now we're putting a lot of pressure onto that Kartana. Now I think, what have we got? What are our options here? I'm just going to go for a close combat into the Torkoal, and I'm going to go for a Flare Blitz into the Kartana with my Marowak. You do see the Marowak withdraw now, so we are going to be able to take down this Torkoal, which is nice. As long as it doesn't protect, of course. So we get the close combat off. That does pick up the KO onto the Torkoal. And we are going to get a fair bit off onto this Porygon2, which is huge because the Sun's boosting this, so that's going to make it a lot stronger than it would normally. It's going to be doing a lot more damage. But the other side of that is it's going to get the recoil's not great, because if this Kartana comes in, if it has something like Night Slash, if it goes for that Leaf Blade and does get the critical hit, then we're not in the best of positions at all. So what can we do here? I can't see my opponent going for a Trick Room with that Porygon2 at this point. So I think what I might do is just shuffle things around slightly. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring in my Ninetales for... should I? I'm going to bring in a Oranguru for my Hariyama, and I'm going to bring in the Oranguru on my... Oh, wait there, sorry. I'm getting totally mixed up. I'm bringing the Ninetales in on my Marowak slot. Sorry guys, I'm half asleep when I wake up. So that's what we'll do. And the aim is to try, and I'm going to hopefully try and get the Trick Room up. And then I can start taking advantage of Marowak under the Trick Room, and it'll be able to really deal with the Kartana and the Porygon2 a lot better. Potentially switching in Ninetales here. We could be giving Kartana a free Beast Boost, but we will be breaking that potential sash that the Kartana might be holding. So do take a Leaf Blade there. It does pick up the KO on the Ninetales. So it is going to get the Beast Boost. Porygon2 just goes for an Ice Beam, so as long as it doesn't freeze here, we'll be fine, I'd imagine. Does a lot of damage, big critical hit there. Right. So our Aurora Veil wears off. I'm going to bring in Hariyama here. I'll just go for a Fake Out onto that Porygon2, and I'll get a Trick Room up with my Oranguru. Oh, I could. The thing is, I could go for a Fake Out onto the Kartana slot here with my Hariyama, because my opponent might expect the Trick Room to be set up and then reverse the Trick Room himself. So going into the latter turns of this game, I can't get the Trick Room up, and it puts a lot more the ball back into his kind of court. But by not faking out the Porygon2, I'm going to fake out the Porygon2 like we originally said and set the Trick Room up. The Kartana probably will attack into the Oranguru slot though, that is the only issue, and then, yeah, it's probably not the best idea, to be honest. Okay, so Oranguru is actually going to get the Trick Room up, so we're a bit fortunate there, because if that Kartana went for the Leaf Blade into the Oranguru slot, then we wouldn't have got the Trick Room up, and Hariyama was in range to go down to the Hail the next turn, and then we would have just had a Marowak, but then that Kartana would have been on +2, so that was not the right move to make. We should have probably went for a Fake Out into that Kartana slot, set the Trick Room up that way, stopped any attacks coming off, because the Porygon2 was only able to KO really the Hariyama that turn, and it would have went down itself if it hadn't went for a recover in that situation. But fortunately for us, we've kind of got through it somehow. I need to wake up slightly. So we should be able to close out this game. I will just go for a Psychic and a Flare Blitz with my Marowak. And that should be game. So we kind of just get through this match by the skin of our teeth. Yeah, like I said, the Fake Out really probably should have been, and maybe double switching a couple of turns prior to that wasn't the right play. That we should have maybe just stayed in and then brought Oranguru in fresh, just preserved the Marowak rather than switching everything around. But like I say, we get through that by the skin of our teeth, and we'll take it though. We'll take that first win. I haven't played any games with this team prior to now, so this team is completely brand new to me. Ben has kind of talked through a few little aspects of the team with myself, but I'm not too familiar with damage cards and things. But on the other hand, that's going to be nice to kind of discuss with Ben when he comes on Friday as well. So and as we go through these matches this week, we'll kind of pick things up as we go along. So hopefully this next match I'll wake myself up a little bit, and we'll not make any mistakes. But as I say, when I'm making mistakes, at least I know I'm making them, and I can talk through them and, you know, explain why it was a mistake and things like that. So hopefully that's kind of a little bit beneficial for you guys as well. We'll just look for a next opponent now and kind of improve on that. So yeah, but for you guys out there that don't know much about Ben, so Ben first kind of broke out onto the scene in 2012, where he finished as a finalist in the UK Nationals that year. I think he was cosplaying as Kyriakou, and like before that point in time, like no one knew who he was, and he kind of just burst onto the scene. And was it 2000? Yes, it 2012. I'm sure it was 2012. I'll have to check with him. But then he's been to Worlds a number of times, I think, and then 2013 he won UK Nationals that year. I got top 4, and he won the whole tournament, so that was huge. And then he finished I think 9th at Worlds, 9th or 10th at Worlds. I'll have to check that year, so that's just such an accomplishment in itself. But he pretty much makes an appearance at Worlds every year. He's one of the best team builders I know, and he's just such a great guy. So it's a real pleasure to kind of have this team featured on the channel. But I'll have to quickly go through this. We have our next opponent playing Arcanine, Garchomp, Tapu Koko, Porygon2, Gyarados, and Alola Muk. And like at the speed of light, I'm going to have to pick a team to kind of counteract this. So I do want Marowak here. Let's see, he has the Arcanine, so I think I might lead with my Milotic this time. I'm going to lead Milotic, Ninetales. I am going to bring the Marowak, and I think I might bring Hariyama as well. Yeah, Hariyama as well, and we'll go with that. Reason for the Hariyama is it does give me another option against that Muk with the Tectonic Rage. That's primarily the only reason there. So hopefully it works out. I'm sure Ben's looking at this cringing at me using it, but I think we'll get through it. I think we'll learn the ways around it. So by the time we get in tomorrow, I'm sure everything will be fine. So we lead off with our Milotic and Alola Ninetales, and my opponent leads off with the Arcanine and the Alola Muk, which is magnificent for us, because we are going to take the Intimidate drop from the Arcanine, but in turn our competitive ability is going to get activated, putting us on +2 special attacks. So Milotic becoming an enormous threat straight away. So what can we do here? I think I can go straight for a Scald. It might be too obvious to go for the Scald on the Arcanine, to be honest. So I might go for a Scald onto the Muk, and I think I'm going to switch in my... because this Arcanine might have that Gigavolt Havoc as well, so we've got to be a little bit aware of that. So I'm going to switch in my Marowak on my Ninetales, just in case we do see a Gigavolt Havoc or a Wild Charge come out from that Arcanine. It is going to mean we kind of are immune to it this turn. And there we are, there's the Wild Charge. So playing into that quite nicely, Marowak is able to pick that up, and we are going to get the Scald off, which is going to pick up the KO onto the Arcanine, I'd imagine, depending on how bulky it is. But I need to wake up. We're not targeting the Arcanine, it's fine. We target the Muk and get the burn, so we get super fortunate there. Muk goes for the knockoff, knocks off the Citrus Berry into the Milotic, but that's not the worst thing in the world. So what we want to try and do as well is not KO this Arcanine and kind of force it out, so it has to at some point come back in to the field to activate the competitive boost again. So that's kind of the aim of it. That would be an ideal situation if we could do that. Now I'd imagine this turn the Muk will probably want to go for a knockoff into the Marowak, and the Arcanine will probably switch it out, or I don't know what the Arcanine wants to do. It doesn't want to really be on the field because it's not really putting any pressure on with the Wild Charge, as long as Marowak's out into the field. So we do see the Arcanine just protect here. So my opponent probably going for that knockoff to try and KO the Marowak, so that next turn he can get the Wild Charge off. But we see through that, get the protect off, and just go for another Scald onto this Muk. And it's going to be in range this next turn, so we'll put it in range to be KO'd this next turn. So that's super nice. So we're free this next turn to go for a Boomerang with our Marowak into the Arcanine slot and just Scald again into that Muk slot, because the Muk has to either protect or switch out into something that my opponent has in the back, or it is going to lose the Muk. So we will just do that. We'll go for that Scald onto the Muk and the Boomerang into the Arcanine slot. So like I say, it'd be super nice if we can force that Arcanine out, and then have my opponent forced to bring it back in to boost the competitive again. But it might just sit there now. It might just attack into... but we do see it withdraw, so that's nice. And the Tapu Koko come in, so this is even better. Because if we can KO the Tapu Koko with a Bone Meringue this turn, then my opponent is going to be down to his last 2 if that Muk goes down as well. So that Arcanine will have to come back onto the field. So we get the Scald off onto the Muk and pick up the KO. So it's all about this Bone Meringue here. And it does hit, so we should pick up the KO onto the Tapu Koko, which is huge. And now that Arcanine, like we were saying, has to come back in on my opponent's end, which is a bit unfortunate for him because Milotic is already hitting stupidly hard, but now with another competitive boost, it's really going to be able to pick up clean KOs on whatever comes in on the field. So we'll just have to see what my opponent has as his last slot. We know that Arcanine's coming in, but it'll be interesting to see what he's got. Maybe the Garchomp. Yeah, and it is the Garchomp. So the one thing we have to worry about with the Garchomp is that it could carry Tectonic Rage, and because we haven't got Intimidate in the team, it will be threatening a KO with that. So we have to be quite careful about what we do here. So I think this turn I'm just going to protect with my Milotic, and I think... yeah, I'm going to bring in my Ninetales in this slot, because if we can get Ninetales in and survive, as long as my opponent doesn't double into the Marowak slot, we're going to be able to pick up the KO onto the Garchomp that next turn. So Arcanine does protect, so I'd imagine an Earthquake coming out here, or a Tectonic Rage possibly. Let's see what my opponent goes for. Is it the Tech Rage? It's not, it's just an Earthquake, so that's fine. So Ninetales should be able to take this quite comfortably. And I'd imagine the Tectonic Rage to probably come out this turn, to be honest. So I think what we're going to have to do is just kind of... we may go... because the electric terrain is up. No. I'm just going to go for a Scald into the Arcanine slot, and I'm going to go for a... because I could go for an Aurora Veil here, switching my Marowak. But I think I really feel like I need to go for a Blizzard here. So I'm going to go for the Blizzard. Hopefully the Garchomp protects, but it doesn't. So we will get rid of the Garchomp here. We may lose our Milotic though to a Wild Charge. Because of the electric terrain being up, it is boosting that. We don't actually see the Arcanine. He is put off by the Marowak in the back. So just see it go for a Flare Blitz. But my opponent calling my kind of bluff there, but he didn't need to. He could have went for the Wild Charge, but I guess not wanting to waste that turn, going for a Flare Blitz. But we're able to pick the K up with the Scald, and just showing how devastating Milotic is, especially in a metagame where Arcanine is probably one of the best Pokemon in the format, and you know, he's one of the best intimidators in the format, and that's why a lot of people are using it. It's such a good support Pokemon, fire typing as well, gives a lot of problems to the steel types in the format, so it's a very versatile support and attacking Pokemon in this metagame, and Milotic, when protected right, is such a good counter to Arcanine, and it really kind of, if it punishes your opponent bringing it to battle, so that's one of the real kind of quirks about using it. But that was quite a nice example of the Milotic in the team, and the Marowak kind of supporting it there with the Lightning Rod, and just showing you when you can kind of predict possibly an electric type attack coming onto you from something that's maybe not as always obvious as an Arcanine. We do know they carry Wild Charge in the Gigavolt Havoc sometimes, but just making that right call there with the Marowak switch in. It wasn't likely that the Muk was going to go for a knockoff onto the Ninetales. It was more likely that it would have went for a Poison Jab, which the Marowak resists. So there wasn't really much much risk of doing that turn, and it really paid off there. We got the boost, we managed to get rid of the Muk, which was threatening the Marowak, and then kind of just went from there. Obviously catching the Tapu Koko on the switching with the Boomerang was huge, and forcing that Arcanine out like we wanted to do to get that second competitive boost, which was enough to kind of close up the game there. So we'll wrap things up there, guys, because I'm yattering on, and you probably have other things to do. So we've had a couple of great games today. Hopefully I'll wake up by tomorrow's episode and we'll have some more great games, counting down until Friday, and we'll have that really cool episode on Friday featuring Ben, which I can't wait for. I keep going on about it, but I really hope this week's going to be something different for you guys to see, and just it's nice to feature, because Ben's a very close friend of mine and he's a great guy, so it's a pleasure for me to be able to bring his team onto the channel and kind of show you guys how it operates, and hopefully give you guys some inspiration to take away yourselves and kind of look at how this team concept is being put together and how it operates, and hopefully we can kind of squeeze Ben to give us some team review kind of things at the end of the week as well, so that would be cool. So guys, we'll call it a day there. If you've enjoyed the episode, as always, please leave a like on the video. It's always massively appreciated. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get all the daily updates for when new videos coming out. We have we're probably not going to do a QR code episode this week, so we'll pick up with those next week. We'll just concentrate on the School of Hard Knocks this week, but to get the daily updates for those, and then when the future episodes of other series that we've got going on come out, like the team review episodes and stuff like that, subscribe to the channel and you'll get the notifications for when they come out. If you've got any questions about this episode or the team or anything like that, leave them in the comment section below and I will get back to you. So as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. It is a massive pleasure having you here with me, and I appreciate every single one of you. But until tomorrow, you guys go away, enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and I will see you again not first thing tomorrow, but I will see you tomorrow evening, guys. Take care of yourselves, and until then, bye bye.